Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about the new weapons available in Stia. However, I will also be talking about the 7-star rarity weapons which we got in Kavaris as well, because a lot of people are wondering, listen, I've got a rugged weapon or I've got an obsidian weapon, should I even bother with these elemental weapons or should I just jump straight to the best of the best? But before we talk about all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Alright, so the very first thing I want to talk about are the new weapons available in Stia. So first of all, we have the Prim Libra weapons. We get this with our expedition preparation tickets. You exchange it. I showed it in yesterday's video, so easy peasy. However, we also have the Effulgent weapons, which are the fire elemental weapons. Now, in yesterday's guide, I did make a small mistake, and that is in Nil Stia's urgent quest. That bomb can actually be turned into a fire bomb with elemental attacks. So yeah, I said that you had to throw a spear at it, but that is not the case. You can simply just use a fire weapon, or you can use fire techniques and turn it into a fire bomb and then throw it into the boss to deal massive damage. So thank you for everyone in the comment section for correcting me. I have amended that by putting a little note or a little editor's thingy over there, so hopefully that will avoid any confusion. But there are two more weapons available in Stia. First is the Kouklophis weapons over here. So this is the one where you actually need to collect your Inferium in order to exchange for this weapon, and you can see that its stats are really good. It's actually better than your Kaiser weapon as well as Obsidian weapon, simply because its flat damage is much higher. However, on top of that, we also have the quote-unquote rugged series or relic series of the region, and that is called the Gunblade Weapon series. So with the introduction of these 4 new weapon series, which one should you go for? I'm gonna give you the TLDR right off the bat in case that's all you care about, and that is for the majority of players. If you're a casual player and you don't seek perfection in your gameplay, just go for the Kouklophis weapons because their potential is very lenient, does not have any special conditions in order to maximize your damage. If we look at the instant death unit over here, it's potency plus 19% damage resistance plus 5% to everything. However, against dolls specifically, you get another 5% damage resistance as well as a 6% potency boost towards these dolls. So this weapon series is very powerful, considering that a lot of the enemies that we are fighting are actually dolls. So getting that 10% damage resistance as well as 25% increased potency is really powerful, and is going to make your life very easy when you're just progressing through Stia or just farming Gigantics or anything in general. This is a very good weapon. However, a lot of people are going for the Gunblade Weapon series, and why is that? Well, the Gunblade Weapon series has the flawless unit potential, and this is really crazy because look at it. At level 4, it gives you potency plus 23%, PP consumption minus 20%, and critical hit rate plus 10%. However, here is the catch. The effect is lost when damage is taken. There's a 15-second cooldown and starts 15 seconds after being equipped. So there are specific conditions to the Gunblade weapon. First of all, you're not allowed to take any source of damage. This includes burn damage, by the way. If you take any elemental damage, you will lose the buff. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, Karo, do you lose the 23% potency or not? And the answer is no, you do not lose the 23% potency when you take damage. However, you will lose the PP consumption minus 20% as well as the critical hit rate plus 10%. Now, I don't have any math to back up this claim, but apparently if you do take damage, the Gunblade Weapon series is basically going to be on par with like the Obsidian weapon. So if you are planning to go the Gunblade Weapon series, you literally have to seek perfection. You will deal a disgusting amount of damage if you can maintain the flawless unit passive by not taking any damage, because look at its attack stat. It gives you 691 attack, which is really good, but the main thing that you're going to want is that PP consumption minus 20%. You can spam a lot more photon arts, and more importantly is that crit rate. Getting that 10% crit rate is going to boost your damage significantly. And this is why the Gunblade Weapon series is by far the best weapon you can go for. However, this is assuming that you play flawlessly and you don't take any damage. So if you are a perfectionist and you're striving for full mastery of your class, then yes, the Gunblade Weapon series is something that you should go for. However, for the majority of us normal players, we are simply just going to stick with the Kouklophis weapons because it is too difficult to maintain the flawless unit for the Gunblade series the entire time, because you take damage from anything. You take elemental damage, you miss your counter and you blocked instead. That counts as taking damage as well. So it's very, very difficult to maintain the flawless unit. However, the Gunblade Weapon series also has one more downfall, and that is over here. Starts 15 seconds after being equipped. So this means that if you use the Gunblade Weapon series, you have to stick with the Gunblade Weapon series. You cannot weapon swap. The moment you switch to, let's say, an Effulgent weapon or a Prim Libra weapon because you need to apply some sort of elemental damage, you'll lose your PP consumption minus 20% as well as your critical hit rate plus 10% for 15 seconds after you switch back to your Gunblade weapon. You need to wait a full 15 seconds before that buff kicks in, and if you take any damage, well, that timer resets again and you need to wait another 15 seconds. So now some of you may be asking, Kero, you didn't even talk about the Prim Libra weapon or the Effulgent weapon that much. And that is because the majority of players, I don't think you need those two weapons, because I know a lot of players out there, they don't play this game as much as I do, and you guys just want to invest into one weapon because resources are scarce. You don't want to farm a bajillion capsules and make multiple weapons and stuff like that. If that is the case, then the Kouklophis weapons is what you want. Now, in order to get your Kouklophis weapons, you will need to farm for Inferium. So this is basically the new Blizzardium, but it's much better than Kavaris, because you can farm for these, and all you need to do is either farm at Dracent Plant over here or Mediola Outer Area 1 or 2. These are the three choices that you can farm at, because there's going to be those Recon Gigantics. You simply kill the Recon Gigantics, you're going to get a bunch of Inferium. However, if you do want a little bit of a challenge, just by running the Stia Devastators and killing regular Gigantics, you also get a bunch of Inferium. I think with the Gigantics, you are guaranteed one per kill. However, with the Recon units, it's a lot more RNG, but personally, I prefer to kill the Recon Gigantics because they're a lot weaker, it's a lot easier. It doesn't feel like you need to invest a ton of time in hitting these mobs because they're not like super crazy tanky. Now, once you farm 200 Inferium, you can come over here to the item trader, talk to her, and right here under item exchange Stia, and this is where you get all of your Kouklophis weapons. However, if you are a little bit more impatient, keep in mind you can get the Kouklophis weapons without a Fixa or with a Fixa 1 attack instead of the Fixa 3 attack. So let's say that you don't want to farm for 200 Inferium because you don't have enough time and you just want to get your Kouklophis weapon now, well, you can always get a Fixa attack 1 variant for 30 Inferium. So this is a much easier way to get your Kouklophis weapon. However, let's say that you don't even have time to farm 30, but seriously, 30 is really easy. Like, you farm casually and you're gonna get 30. I got like 25 on the first day of Stia's release by just like running around in circles and not really knowing what I was doing. So really, 30 is pretty easy to get. However, I do recommend people to get 200 Inferium and just jump straight to the Fixa Attack 3, because the Fixa Attack 3 is going to give you 4% more potency versus Fixa Attack 1, which only gives you 2%. Future Kara over here, I forgot to mention that you can use the Fixa transfer system later down the line. So let's say that you really want your Kouklophis weapons right now. So you can purchase this for 30 Inferium. Once you have this weapon, you can fully augment it, throw your Mastery 4s, whatever you want onto it, and later down the line when you finally get your 200 Inferium, you can get the Fixa Attack 3 version, and then you can transfer this Fixa Attack 3 onto your Fixa Attack weapon. For those who are wondering how on earth do you do that, you actually come over here to the item lab, and right here under add preset skills, you're going to click on this, and then you're going to click on whatever base weapon you have. So for example, let's say that my base weapon is this golden prim sword over here, and then next up you can select your material selection. So when I go to all storage over here, let's say I want to transfer this Fixa Fatale level 3 onto my golden prim sword. I can simply click on that, and boom, I can add Fixa Fatale level 3 onto my weapon. There is a catch to this though. The catch is it has to be the exact same name. So for example, if I want to transfer a Fixa onto a golden prim sword, I have to have another golden prim sword with a Fixa. All right, it has to be one-to-one. The names cannot be different in any way. So let's say, for example, I have an Ephetus Armor Arga over here, and then I have a Ephetus Armor Belta with like a Fixa 5 guard. I cannot transfer that Fixa 5 guard onto my Arga because the names are different, because one is Ephetus Armor Arga, the other one is Ephetus Armor Belta. All right, so just understand that that is the condition in order to transfer Fixas. And another thing I forgot to talk about was, of course, your Prim Libra weapon as well as your Effulgent weapon, those two elemental weapons. If you want to build them, then yes, they're really good in very specific situations. So for example, the Prim Libra weapon is really good when you're fighting Gigantics because they are weak to the ice element. When you use the Prim Libra weapon, you slowly accumulate elemental downs and eventually you will freeze those Gigantics, which allows your party to deal tons of damage because, well, the Gigantics can't move, which is very, very nice. As for the Evigent weapon, well, it allows you to do specific mechanics on certain bosses. So remember the guide that I made yesterday, using a fire weapon will make your life a lot easier if you don't have access to any techniques. However, if we look solely on damage alone, unfortunately these elemental weapons are not very good. If you look at raw damage alone, you might as well just go with the Kouklophis weapon or the Gunblade series because those are going to deal a lot more damage. Or of course you can just stick with your Obsidia weapon or your Rugged weapon or even your Kaiser weapon. However, we are not done yet. Remember, on December 22nd, we are actually getting a new seasonal event. There's going to be a new seasonal weapon. So if you don't want to invest into your Kouklophis weapons and you just want to use your current Rugged weapons, Obsidia weapons, Kaiser weapons, it's perfectly fine to stick with those for now, and they're perfectly functional. You just use that until the seasonal event comes in, upgrade to the seasonal weapon because there's going to be the seasonal shop. You're going to pick up those weapons for basically free, and you're just going to use that because it's going to be best in slot for that seasonal event. Unless of course you have the Gunblade series when you play perfectly, but for most people you're not going to get a Gunblade weapon and play perfectly. So yeah, that's going to be really, really easy. You can just chill with whatever you have right now, whatever 7-star rarity weapon you have, because you probably invested a lot into it. You probably have good augments on it, and you can just stick with it. You're going to be perfectly fine, okay? Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the